Hello, welcome back to another episode from Pale Horse Survival and Tactical. I'm Bill, and today I'm set up underneath a poncho shelter. It's raining. You can probably hear the rain. Well, it's kind of spitting drops at the moment. It's been off and on rain, so went ahead and set this poncho shelter up so stay dry here and do this video. Today, as soon as I get done with the tender bundle here, I'll be doing a bow drill video. I'll make a California buckeye bow drill kit. I already have one on my channel under California buckeye bow drill. It's an excellent bow drill wood. But this kit here is being constructed for a friend of mine named John, who has been working really hard to learn bushcraft skills, and he's fairly new to it and just got into primitive fire by friction, and stab the knife into the tender bundle so don't blow away. I'll get rid of these sun sleeves here. They're running competition with me. So we decided to trade a few bushcraft projects with one another, handmade bushcraft projects. So he's making me a hobo fishing setup that he made by hand from all natural materials, and in return, since he's working hard to learn fire by friction, I'm going to go ahead and make him a California buckeye bow drill kit here. I've got a couple pieces that I harvested. It was last summer. I knew I hung on to these pieces for a reason, and you probably hear the rain coming down now, hitting the rain poncho here. Hopefully it doesn't get too heavy out here. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this. And this piece here, this big piece, I'm going to split out a hearth board and hopefully get a couple spindles out of this as well. Kind of looking this over. It's a nice roll here. Hopefully there's enough lighting in here that you guys can see. I think we can pull it off. This has a nice natural curve, so that's kind of already set up for part of a spindle here. So I'm going to split this out, and I'll probably do the same on this other side. That way we'll use the natural curve of the wood here. Kind of minimizes some of the processing to work these down into spindles. And then in the center, I'll get the hearth board out of here, and I think we should be good to go. So the goal is to get a hearth board and a couple spindles if this piece of wood will split true. It's wet out here. I don't want this. I'm going to go ahead and put this tender bundle in my pocket. The ground's pretty wet. Tender will tend to soak up the moisture pretty fast. Alright, let's see what kind of damage we can do here. I usually make my spindles about thumb width, roughly, depending. And I got away without bringing my usual favorite baton with me, so I had to kind of improvise one today. Fortunately, I had a piece rolling around in the back of my truck. Let's see, if this thing splits true, we'll be good to go. Well, it kind of veered off a little at the bottom, but I think we can get a spindle out of this. I usually rough split things, and then before I start whittling on them, that saves some of the labor. I'll whittle that down and see how that goes. Hopefully this will work. Let's see if we can get another piece out of this. I'm going to split a little wider on this next one. Walk on me there a little bit. That's what I usually wind up with, is a square, and then I kind of work it down from there. Okay, so we have two pieces. This is definitely a spindle here. I just got to do a little cleanup on it. And what I'm going to do here, I don't want you guys to be bored to death watching me process these down and whittling away for the next 10-15 minutes. So I'm going to pause the camera and do some whittling on these two pieces. I want to see how well they're going to work for spindles before I go and split any more of this piece here. I see a spot where I could probably take another area for a spindle, but I also want to save enough for a hearth board too, so I don't want to get ahead of myself. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause you guys, and I shall return in just a few minutes. Stay tuned. Okay, welcome back. I've been working on this for a little bit, and this spindle I still need to finish. This is a branch, so it's pretty much a ready-made spindle. Just need to clean it up a little bit. I got a couple smaller spindles out of this, and they came out pretty decent. I've already blunted the ends off for the hearth board and sharpened the top for the to points for the bearing block. And I went ahead to split the large piece for a hearth board. I'm going to use this for the hearth board here because the wood's not really splitting true. This is the piece I was going to split off and use as a hearth board, and kind of got narrow towards the end. That was the thickness that I originally wanted. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to split it and see if I can get a couple more spindles out of this. And do that, I'll just, when I split it, the wood wants to wander, so I'm just going to split it wide to leave a lot of working room here. So this is a nice fat piece. This is going to make a great spindle here. Just need to work it down, and same with this piece. So they look pretty good. So I'll work on those. What I'm going to do right now, get all this out of the way here. I'm going to go ahead and chop this hearth board down. And I'll just plane this down by chopping. Reduce the thickness and smooth it out at the same time. This buckeye is a really soft wood. A lot of the is very prized by a lot of the Native American tribes in California as a primitive fire-making resource. It's one of the top woods that they use. I usually make my hearth boards about a half an inch in thickness. Strider wrap's coming off here. Yeah, it's starting to get there. This end was a little fatter, a little thicker, so it's taking a little bit more to work it down here. This is going to be the top. Actually, either or would work pretty good. I'm going to bring that thickness down a little bit further. I like to chop because it's calorie efficient. Survival situation, long-term bushcrafting, calorie conservation is always very important. If you have an easy way to do something, it's the best way to do it. You can sit here and whittle on this for hours and use up a lot more calories than it would take to simply chop it down, and it's much more time efficient as well. Let's get pretty close. It's a little fat on the back end here. Bring this back edge down just a little wider than I care to see. And I'm going to finish both sides of this. Usually I'll finish one side, but to help him out, I'm going to finish both sides. So there's enough room here to put holes on this side and get coals, and then there's plenty wide enough to utilize both sides here. So I'll go ahead and prepare both sides here. That's sitting nice and flat. You see there's no wobble to it at all. pretty close. And then I'm going to test it out before I send it to him, so I'll do that here in a little bit and give it a test run. So we'll burn a hole in. Burn a hole in and get a coal with it. I have a much more in-depth video on the California buckeye. I have an identification video on the channel and also a bow drill video where I go a little more in depth on how to use the bow and whatnot. This isn't bad at all. That's right about, that's sitting right on about a ½ inch. My boards always come out about a ½ inch. I just eyeball them, but it's pretty smooth. It's not bad. It's been spitting rain off and on. Hasn't been real super heavy today. I'm gonna have to redo the wrap on my knife here. It likes to creep up here. Alright, let's smooth the edges out here. Remove the bark and get a nice 90-degree edge here. This is the top. It just feels like a top. It sets nice too. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera again, and in the interim I'm going to go ahead and finish these two. I should be able to get some long spindles out of these. So I'm going to finish these two up into spindles, and I'm going to clean this guy up for spindle as a spindle also. And when I return, we'll go ahead, we'll get this stump out of the way. A little tight inside the shelter here. You can probably hear the rain still hitting the poncho, still coming down, still spitting some raindrops. I'll get this stump out of the way, and in its place I'll go ahead and we'll burn a hole in and cut a notch, and see if we can get a coal with this. So stay tuned, I shall return. Hey, welcome back. I finished one. Got a nice long spindle out of this. Already blunted the end for the hearth board, sharpened the top. Really happy with that one. Still raining out here, which is good, we need it. I'm finishing up the last one here. Thought I'd start the camera back up if anybody was interested in how I finish these off. I'm fabricating a spindle. Right now I'm just chopping basically chopped it on 4 sides to square it off. And Then I'll go down the 90-degree edges with the knife. And this is where you have to kind of do what I call precision chopping. So you're just removing a little bit at a time, kind of rotate it, eyeball it. When you do a spindle, you want the spindle to be more or less uniform in thickness from end to end. If you have a skinny end and a fat end, when you're using the bow drill to actuate it, what happens is the string will migrate from the fat end to the skinny end. If it goes far enough and it gets into your hearth board or moves upward into the bearing block, it will interfere with your fire making efforts. So this is still just roughing it out here. See, I'm eyeballing it. I can see it's a little fat. Middle there. You just kind of rotate it, eyeball it. The trick is to remove just a little bit of material at a time. It's easier to remove material, which there's nothing you can do to put it back on. And what we have here, well, it's a little fat right there. This isn't looking bad, but up here at the top, this narrows. So I'm not going to be able to round this off. So what I'll do is, this is nice and round up to about here. So that's a greater part. That's 2/3 of the spindle. So there's plenty of room here for the string to actuate it. So what I'll do is, since I can't remove much more material here to round this off to match this end, I'm going to use this as the bearing block end, so I'll just whittle this into a point, and this will be the business end on the hearth board. So do a little cleanup here. Right now I'm just smoothing it out more or less. You don't want it perfectly smooth. You want some ridges on it so the string has something to bite to. There's no need to make a spindle perfectly smooth. I think we're looking pretty good here. A couple little high spots here. Anything that's too high, you just eyeball it, rotate it, eyeball it. Anything that's too high, just go and knock it down. I think we're pretty close here. So that's 2 big spindles, 2 small spindles, and this one that I still need to clean up. And I'll chop this and reduce it down in width, because this is This is too fat. I want to bring that down probably 1/8 of an inch in diameter. That's not bad, so go ahead and whittle this to a point. That'll work perfect for the bearing block. Blunt this end off. I'll go ahead and pause the camera when I'm done here. I'm going to clean this one up. And then we're going to get a coal with this. We'll go ahead and wrap the video up. Alright. This is what I've got. You can see how this was too narrow to round off, but the string won't be up that high, so we're still good. There's still 2/3 of the spindle that's perfectly usable here. This wood's so lightweight, I mean, it's almost like balsa wood. It's a very light, porous wood. If you've never used California buckeye, and it's only found in California up to, I think, southern Oregon. It's a very interesting wood, and anybody viewing this video, if you live in other parts of the country, and if you're interested in one of these, give me a shout. I'd be happy to make you one. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause this. I'm going to clean this dude up here, and then we're going to get busy, get a coal here. Stay tuned. I'll be back. Okay, welcome back. I just finished the other spindle. I did notice there's insect damage in the middle of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get a coal with this one. If it doesn't work, then I won't include it in his kit, but I don't know how far up into this that goes, so go ahead and give that a shot. Some kind of insect had gotten in there and burrowed into the end of that. Got the hearth board down here, and you can see I've been busy. This is all the shavings. I've been whittling away. I mean, there's a ton of freaking shavings out here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and which one was it? This one right here. Go ahead and stab that in. I usually, the sharp edge bearing block end, stick that into the wet soil, and it helps lubricate the end that goes in your bearing block, and also keeps your business end up off of the moist ground. Alright, let's see. I guess we'll go ahead and put a hole in right around here. This is a pilot hole. This is to get the spindle started so it doesn't wander all over the hearth board. Just divot out a pilot hole here. That should work. the knees. Been working on this for a while, probably an hour now. The rain seemed to have stopped. Alright, let's see if we can get this burnt in. See how this insect damaged piece, how well it's going to work. Smoke at me. Doesn't seem to be doing too bad. It heated up and smoked and produced a nice black char, so that's always a good thing. Go ahead and put this up here on the stump. This divot cut in here. This wood is so soft. Amazingly soft wood. My divot's off a little bit, but we can make it work here. Go ahead and clean this up. Basically, you just want to remove fuzz and anything that's going to prevent the coal from, the char from lumping together. Fan the edges, the bottom edges, I slant them outward. It just draws a little more, seems to draw a little more air into the developing coal. Okay, yeah, let's see, right behind me is privets. So I'm going to use a privet leaf as a welcome mat. Coal. Shoelaces out of the way. Don't run interference. Take it slow, keep an eye on the notch, let that notch fill with char. I can already see a coal. See the smoke coming out of that while it was forming. That's why I chose California buckeye for him, since he's new to primitive fire by friction. It is one of the easiest woods to get a coal. Here's a tender that I've had in my pocket, keep it dry since it's been raining. See if we can get this to ignite just by waving it. There we go. Get that out before I catch all these shavings on fire here. All right, so there we go. We've got hearthboard, and that only burned down. There's enough hole there. There's enough hole left for another coal. This is the insect piece that had the insect damage, but it looked like that's as far as it went in, so it's a good spindle. So we got 3 long spindles here and too many spindles. So John, my brother, this is your kit. I want to give it a test run before I send it, make sure it's going to work. So and when I get the hobo hand fishing rig that you're sending me, I'll do a video on that. I'm going to take it out fishing and hopefully have some good video of catching some of those good catfish we have around here. Please like, subscribe, and share. I hope you all enjoyed the video as much as I did making it for you. And anybody who's interested in learning primitive fire by friction, I have a ton of videos on my channel of bow drill kits being constructed, a lot of good tips and tricks, and I've used a lot of different woods on there. So there's a few other ones that I'm gonna do here shortly. So you can look forward to those and many more upcoming videos over the next several months. I have a lot of videos planned. Anyways, guys, everybody have a good day or night, depending on where you're located, and I will see all of you very soon on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye. We have fire. To the coal.